Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. I'm your host, Brent Rasmussen, and you are sponsored here and in my office today at Mortgage Specialists. And today we're going to talk about the credit bureaus. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion are going to be making major changes in how they report medical collections moving forward, which will help a lot of borrowers. And the changes that they're making just make sense. I've seen a lot for the past 25 plus years on credit reports and insurance and lending. And these changes should have happened quite a few years back, but at least now with statistics, they're able to make some educated decisions on how to tackle some medical collections. So first, let's talk about the credit bureaus. We do know that there's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. A lot of people believe they only have 3 different credit scores, when in actuality, each one of those companies can calculate a different credit score. So you can have over 100 different credit scores themselves. So while we do know you get a score when you take a loan out, generally from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, there's tons of different scoring models, and they're different depending on if you got it free through a Credit Karma or your credit card statement, or if you took out a student loan, a car loan, and a mortgage. Each one of those scoring models is a little bit different. So there's lots and lots of those that occur. So reason why we're talking about this today is depending on what scoring model you're looking at might depend on how your medical collections are reported on the credit bureau themselves. So what we look at are trade lines on your credit reports, and a trade line basically means an account that you owe money to that gets reported to the credit bureau. So you might take out a loan with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Chase Manhattan. Each one of those happens to be a trade line. And each time you charge or pay money, each month the credit bureau is going to give a reporting of what has happened, whether it's good, bad, in between. One of those trade lines that happens to be is called a medical collection. And a lot of times what has transpired is you go to the doctor's office or some medical professional, and for some reason, maybe the data or information doesn't get to you, but you don't pay that account. And if you don't pay it, it turns into a collection. So then the medical company, whoever is running those bills, is going to send information as a trade line to the credit bureau saying, Mr. and Mrs. Smith did not pay this $125 doctor bill. We're going to report this as in collection status, which means it has not been paid yet. So because it's not been paid, that looks negatively on your credit report. And what has been happening throughout the years is that medical collections generally report very quickly to the credit bureaus. And with those medical collections showing up, your score can drop dramatically just because you have one collection, whether it's $1 or $5,000. So, for example, like when you see your free credit scores, medical collections aren't in those scoring models at all. So you never see those particular numbers, hence why the credit scores that you might see are higher than that lending company that you're getting a car loan or mortgage or student loan from. So currently, right now, we're seeing that America has over $88 billion in medical debts. And that's a huge number. It affects a lot of people because it might not mean that you're bad at managing your funds. It might mean that you are waiting on your insurance company to tackle a bill or a lawsuit that's happening or something that's going to be occurring. And one party just isn't talking to another party to get their money straightened out and paid. So the CFPB, who is a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is the entity that looks over all forms of lending in the country. And they did an analysis and decided that just because you have a medical collection, there's no direct correlation between your mismanagement of funds and that medical collection. It doesn't mean you don't have the ability to pay your other bills. A lot of the times just means that 2 different systems are not talking to each other. So what they've changed, and 2 major changes that are coming down the pipe, are it used to be once you received a medical collection, they had to wait at least 6 months before they report that to the credit bureaus. But starting on March 30th, we're going to see that change to up to a year. So you have to have had that medical collection a full year before that shows up on your credit bureau itself. What they're hoping for, obviously, is within that time frame of a year, that those particular bills will get paid by you, paid by insurance company, paid by a lawsuit, wherever they're supposed to be paid by, and never show up on your credit bureau. The next biggest change happening also on March 30th is that all medical collection debts that are less than $500 are not going to be reporting at all on your credit report. So if they currently are, you might have 2 or 3 or 4 for $25, $12, $150. those are going to get washed off your credit report. And we're going to see consumers' credit scores start to go up just because of these situations occurring. So now might be the time, if you've had some medical collections that are holding you back on getting you approved for a mortgage loan, and some of these medical collections are old and they're smaller amounts, and some of this might fit into the perfect scenario at this point in time. FHA has made some massive changes, so maybe now is the time to take a look at getting pre-approved for a mortgage. If you have any questions at all about your credit, about collections, about judgments, about anything about the mortgage process at all or getting pre-approved, you can phone call us at 402-991-5153 or check us out on our website at mtg-specialist.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Mortgage Specialists, where you're going to get the weekly Mortgage Matters in Minutes. Have a great day, everyone.
Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.